The story of my bankruptcy and what I learned from it. Hi, my name is Slavica Bogdanov. I'm a successpreneur, a serial entrepreneur, and I help entrepreneurs reach their first $1 million scale to seven figure and above. I'm also a five-time best-selling author, international public speaker, and a film producer. So yes, I had many, many failures. I had many, many times where I went into oblivion and thought the world would end. But I think my worst the worst thing that happened to me, or at least one of the worst things that happened to me in my adult life, is really when I went bankrupt in 2012. And to make the story short, I started investing in real estate with actually $0. I found a way to buy my first triplex with no money at all in my bank account, and so that was a success. And I was able to fill it with great tenants, and from that I went on to getting the next and the next and the next. And basically, I had within a year and a half, I had four triplexes, I had different rental houses, and I was rolling in dough. Um, and then 2008, 2009 hit, and within a day, almost a day, like within a week, I lost 11 out of 12 of my tenants. And when they left, they basically destroyed the place. The place was really, really in a bad condition when they left. I couldn't get any of any money. They ruined the place more than the damage deposit, and therefore I was in the rut. The mistakes, and then I couldn't, of course, rent it again. And by not renting it again, I was bleeding money every day because I had still the taxes to pay and the water bills. And so the bills started piling up. And I think I quit trying to find a solution. There was a lot of pressure from my family to also give up, and I listened, which was not necessarily a good idea to always listen to people who don't have the solution. And I ended up getting bankrupt with a $30,000 gap. So it seems ridiculous today, but the negativity that I ended up being into, and the fear and the doubts and the kind of the vicious circle that I ended getting into really, I think, played with my brain. And eventually I just folded. I just gave up. And it's one, I'd say, of the most dramatic and traumatizing, and I lived a lot of them, but it was one of those really horrible moments of my life because I really put my entire life into those buildings. Sweat, blood, and tears. I worked in them, I renovated them. Some of them I worked personally. I sweat personally to bring them to a renovation level that was outstanding. I even slept in some of the buildings in the dust. I camped because not to get the materials, the copper, the equipment stolen during the night, which was the case in that neighborhood. So I almost risked my life for those buildings, and I had to give everything away. And I'd say, so it was a big loss. I really felt it as death. I felt it like I just died. I felt like the biggest failure on the planet. I felt like I would never, ever be successful ever again. And I got into a deep depression for about a month and a half. Um, I really got into the deep darkness. Um, Without getting into what helped me come out of the darkness, I'd like to speak about the lessons that I learned from that bankruptcy that I hope help you. One of the lessons is that I didn't plan. Like many of us, I didn't plan for 2008. Some of us today are not planning for a pandemic. So I didn't plan for the worst case scenario and then thrive knowing that I had planned for the worst case scenario and that I was secure and safe. That was mistake number one. Mistake number two is that I utilized all the income that was coming to reinvest. So I was really risking way too much because I was going, I didn't have any breathing room and I didn't have any cushion, any safety net. I was always reinvesting everything back into the next building, into the next building, because entrepreneurs tend to be big optimists. And in my big optimism, I thought, well, it can't be that bad. If I lose one tenant or two, I'll manage. I was rolling in dough. Money was coming in really fast and steady. So I fell into the trap of that comfort, that belief of comfort. And I thought also that everything that was coming was pure profit. I didn't calculate to put aside a safety net, to put aside money just in case that something would go terribly wrong. And I scaled really rapidly. I scaled, having five buildings within 7, 8 months. So that was also the mistake, is that scaling without having the proper back bone, I'd say, of the company, to have really something steady and secure, to have a management team that would be steady and secure. Because what happened also, in conjunction to the fact that the 2008 hit, my brother got sick, and so now it's fine, everything is fine, but he got into a big depression. And so I stepped out of the business to help him out, evidently. So I rushed out of the real estate development that was really, really far from him, and let that on the side sit. And I rushed to put a management team in place, to run the company while I was away helping my brother. And that was also a big mistake because I rushed in putting in some people without doing due diligence, and those people weren't good at managing buildings. And so they put tenants that they didn't do their due diligence on, and they didn't check those tenants well enough to know if they're going to pay, what was their job. So they were in a rush to fill out my building so they could get their cut, so they could get their money. Um, and so they just put anybody into the apartments, and that led to that catastrophic kind of snowballing effect in me losing everything I owned. So I as I said, I went into a month and a half, 2 months actually, 2.5 months depression. And I think what got me out of it is I prayed. That's really what I did. I prayed to God to illuminate me with an idea, illuminate me with something that could help me out of the rut and help me out of the situation that I was in. And I came up with the idea of creating an online coaching platform, which I had no clue how it would work or what it would be, but it was the idea that came to me. It was create an online digital platform, because I used to be really, really good, and I still am, in building websites. And I started coding long time ago, when coding was just the beginning of coding. And so I knew about websites, and I had generated passive income in the past with websites. And so I thought, yeah, I could do that. I could, create a website and create passive income. But I didn't know, and that would kind of be my steady flow of cash, uh, while I dig myself out of the hole, and mentally, physically, psychologically. Thank goodness, of course, I am a coach for the last 15 years, so I have my own mental structures and my own mindset and my own philosophies of life that dig me out of the rut also, because I'm so programmed to be positive and to move forward, and to get up whenever I get hit again and again and again, but to get up again. And so I have this kind of instinct built in. But nonetheless, it was a very, very difficult time. It was a very dark place, dark moment of my life. And the reason why I share it with you is often enough we talk about successes or how good we are, or we're so strong, we're so this and so that. And we forget to share the tough parts, the moments where we really ended up being, feeling worthless. And I think that is what makes me who I am today. And I think it's important because it might help you out of your difficult situation, to know that there's hope, to know that it's not the end, to know that you have to get yourself back up, because there is light at the end of the day. I'm here, I'm successful again. And I had other downfalls, of course, ups and downs. That's the life of an entrepreneur. What we hope as an entrepreneur is that we have less downs and more ups, and that way we climb higher and higher. But every hit we get, especially at the beginning, we get hit a lot. And that builds, I guess, our strength and our willingness, our power, and our willingness to move forward no matter what. It's the discipline, the perseverance, the determination that makes someone succeed. And I hope this inspires you. Please share the video. Maybe someone needs to hear this. Subscribe to my channel and see me on my website, of course. And if I can help you, I'll be more than happy to. Thank you and have a great day.